let's get started with some jumping jacks here. Tap those toes out to the side if you want, or if you're feeling good, you can jump. My ankles are less stiff today, however, I do still like to keep it slow at the beginning. Really make sure that you're reaching your arms, you're reaching your fingertips as far apart from each other as you can, and just creating space in as many areas as your body as you can. Hinge those shoulder blades back together. We're going to switch into our seal jack, so legs continue the same. Arms now go forward and backwards. Shoulders low. Big swing to feel the stretch across the front of the chest and really pinching those shoulder blades together as low as you possibly can. If you need to adjust your hands down a little lower here to get lower in between the shoulder blades, that's okay. Good. 3, 2, 1, done. Let's go ahead and grab that broomstick that you have here. If you don't have a broomstick, you can do some arm swings this way. That's okay. So we're going to take that broomstick. There's going to be 3 positions we're going to do. Position number 1 is nice and wide. Position number 2 is medium. Position 3 is narrow, right above those shoulders or as close to it as you can get. So let's start with the hands nice and wide here. We're going up, trying to get those arms behind you here. But we want to avoid doing a big back extension to get there. So if your arms come up to here and that's it, that's okay. You come back down. Another 10 seconds here, and then we're going to find our next second grip. So I want you to notice how it changes where you feel it when you bring those hands in midway. And now as you go up, how does it feel different? Do you feel it in a different area of the chest or shoulder? Remember, we always want to stay in that pain-free range of motion. And as swimmers, we want to get closer and closer to that streamline. So next time you come down, we're going to bring those hands closer together, right above the shoulders. Don't worry about going to streamline today, but we will be getting there. Exhale as you're lifting. As those hands go closer together, you should feel a bit more restricted in terms of your range of motion. Good, one more here. Now, when you get up to the top, if you like, you can go wider. I also like to go wider with my feet. And locking those arms out, you're just going to crunch from one side to the other, targeting the muscles between your rib cage and your hip. Takes my breath away a little bit there. Good. And you can go ahead and put that bar down. Little love to our shoulders here. So I want you to take your shoulders and I want you to shrug them all the way up. Then I want you to pull them back, pinching the shoulder blades together. Pull them down to reach towards the floor and then round them forward. So we're doing these really big shoulder circles, pausing in each position to really feel the muscles that get activated to help facilitate these movements. Forward and up, backwards and down. Last one this direction, and then we're going to switch it off the opposite direction. Remember, crunching and cracking is normal as long as it's pain-free. It's very common, sorry. Let's go backwards. Pinch those shoulder blades back together. Lift the shoulders up towards your ears. Round them forward in front of you and pull the shoulders away from your ears. Back, up, forward, and down. Most of us are really good at this part, and we're not so good at this part. Very nice. Bring your feet just a little bit wider apart so you've got a nice sturdy stance. We're going to put one hand down to our side, opposite hand reaches up and over. Once again, targeting this area here from rib cage to hip bone. In order to get in really deep to it, you have to make sure that both feet stay planted If I let a foot lift, I'm not stretching that area as well. So we're going to get in a little bit deeper to these muscles, these obliques and the QL muscle here. So we're going to target off the front of the hip bone, which means we're going to do the same motion we just did, but instead of running our hand down along the side of our leg, we're going to run it down along the back of our leg and aiming that arm to the side and backwards now. So you feel the muscles peel off here. And if you have any pain in your back as you do that backward lean, focus just on the reach. If you reach this arm back and over, you're still going to feel the stretch without having to extend your spine backwards. So now you're feeling those muscles peel off the top of this hip, the front of the hip bone, sorry. Now we're going to go off the back of the hip bone. So running that hand down along the front of the leg as you arch that arm forward and to the side. Thinking about those muscles coming off the back of your hip bone right here. And as you go forward, you can kind of get into a little bit of flexion through the spine to help you get deeper into that muscle. However, I don't want to see this. Still really focus on how far that arm is reaching. So we're creating space. Good work. All right. Giving the upper body a little bit of a break. We're going to take it down to the ground. Go ahead and grab that kneeling pad or pillow if you need it. We're going to start down on one knee. So before we begin, we want to get into a pelvic tilt. So I want you to imagine your tail is tucking between your legs. So you're lifting that pubic bone towards your chin. And then we're going to drive our knee forward, feeling that stretch go down the full length of the quad here. Exhale as we go forward. Inhale to come backwards, stopping when you get over top of that knee. If you need something to hold on to, go ahead and take it. So we're going to change this one just a little bit here. So when you come back up over the knee, instead of that leg being in front of you, you're going to take that leg 45 degrees off to the side. I'm still going to stay pelvic tilted, but now I'm going to lean my body weight following my foot and my knee here, getting a little bit more into these groin muscles. Always exhale as we push deeper. That way it promotes relaxation and we don't tense up our body around it. All right, so bring that knee back in front of you here now. And I want you to attach your front big toe to the floor. We're now going to hinge and push our hips backwards as our body leans forward. And now we're stretching the back of that front leg here. And right back up to the top. Exhale as we go backwards to stretch. Inhale to come up. So you can try rolling to your heel, lifting the toe. See how that feels. Versus keeping that toe planted and pushing the hips backwards. Which one is best for you? Which variation? Remember, these classes are all about me guiding you into you getting to know your body better and finding what works for you. So you can roll the heel, sit back as you lean forward. You're going to feel that more in the full length of the muscle versus keeping that toe planted and getting more into the belly of that hamstring muscle. Go ahead and release. We're going to switch it over and do those same three on the opposite side now. So on one knee, start with that pelvic tilt, tucking your tail between your legs or lifting your pubic bone to your chin, whatever helps you. And then we're going to drive the hips forward to take that stretch down the length of the leg instead of just in the front of the hip here. The harder you tuck that tailbone underneath you, the more you're going to feel the stretch in the hip and the quad. Strong. Coming up back, neutral over that hip and taking your leg 45 degrees out to the side. So my toe is turned and my knee. Keep that pelvic tilt and then lean your body weight out over top of that foot. Now targeting the groin muscles here. Finding some muscles that we don't often use in our everyday life. Last one here. Coming up back to neutral, bringing that leg back in front of you here. Now we're pushing those hips backwards as we lean forward. So you can either keep that front big toe connected to the ground as you lean forward and push the hips backwards, or you can roll to the heel, straightening the leg. The goal here is to feel this in the back of that front leg. So whichever position helps you get into that and feels the best for you, I want you to do. If you want to alternate between the two, you're welcome to do that as well. You might find that today you need one variation, but next time we come back to this, your body might need a little something else. And that's okay. We're always going to meet your body where it's at on each individual day. All right, now there's a lot on the knees today. So if you need to go ahead and switch back to that first knee, you can, or you can stay on the same knee. We're going to do the world's greatest stretch. I did not name this, but I do think it's pretty great. Hands are going to come down on the inside of your leg here, okay? So I'm still on one knee. This leg is out to the side. Now the arm that's closest to that front leg, I'm going to try and get my elbow to the ground, and then I'm going to rotate open towards my front knee. So starting to get into the hips and the low back. Elbow reaches down, and then we rotate open. So from the side, here I am. And if you're feeling super mobile today and you have no problem getting that elbow down to the ground, you could straighten your back leg and do this from the back toe, which you are welcome to do. But if you're like me and you're not really that close to the ground, it is not necessary to get a good stretch to go up there. It would be by choice. So I'm going to shift back forward to show you this. We're going to switch our arms now. So leg is going to stay on the same leg, but you're going to plant the hand that's closest to the foot to the ground and use that knee and shoulder against each other for some leverage. I want you to reach that outside arm under your leg, and then you're going to open up away from your front leg using that shoulder and knee against each other for some leverage here. Inhaling as you reach under your leg and exhale as you open up away. Go ahead and push yourself back, switch the leg over, and we're on our world's greatest stretch on the second side. So we always start with that arm that's closest to our leg. That's the easier one to do. Elbow drops towards the ground, and then you rotate open. At the bottom, I like to do a couple pulses. Now the pulses are only taking me in and out of that 3 or 4 out of 10 on the pain scale, not further. Remember, you can go up to that toe if you'd like to. And after this next one, we're going to switch up our arms. So that arm that was just moving is now planting on the ground, pressing knee and shoulder against each other. I'm going to open up away from me and then reach underneath my thigh. Inhale as we're here, exhale to open. And release. All right, before we move on from this position, on our hands and knees here, we're going to do a little cat-cow, starting to get that spine warmed up. So you're going to take a big deep breath in. You're going to exhale as you stretch your spine up towards the ceiling. Let the chin tuck. Then you're going to inhale as you drop the belly button, raise your tailbone and raise your chin up towards the ceiling. I like to close my eyes and imagine that each time I go into a new position, I'm trying to get my spine to complete a full circle. So underneath me, I'm trying to get my shin to my tailbone. And then as I drop that belly button and inhale, trying to get my tailbone up to the back of my head. Every vertebrae should get a teensy bit of movement here. And if it feels good, you can go a little side to side here with the hips. And we're going to go ahead and grab our straight bar and your flat surface. So my flat surface is here. Remember, this could be a coffee table, a couch, a table, a desk. If your surface is around your waist height or higher, you're going to be on your feet. If your surface is lower than your waist, like mine is, you're going to be down on your knees. So the variation to do if you don't have a broomstick, you're going to clasp your hands together, elbows go up on the surface here, and then you're going to push those hips backwards and extend the arms and curl. Okay. If you do have that broomstick, you want to be a little stricter. You're going to hold that broomstick with the palms facing up. You want to keep that entire pinky side of your hand on that broomstick as you drop your chest down and you're trying to curl backwards. Remember, pain-free movement is the name of the game here. So you want to stay in an area that isn't going to be painful and pick a regression or a progression that's appropriate. Inhale as you extend your arms forward, feel your lats push out to the side, and then you're going to exhale as you curl your arms backwards and try to get your sternum closest to the floor. So if you've got any trap tightness or any stuck shoulder blades, this is going to help release them. That's And then we're going to slowly let ourselves come up here. Broomstick can go down. Move that surface out of the way. You're going to find a wall space here. So you're going to push your hands against a wall. I don't have a great wall space that allows you to see really well if I'm here, my back's to you. So I'm going to kind of mock it here. You're going to lean against the wall, press your hands into the wall here, kind of trying to press your chest down into that same position that we were just in. If you bend the knees a little bit here, it will allow you to get that tailbone a little higher up. And I want your feet far enough apart that you're steady. You're going to inhale as one arm comes off that wall and raises. And then you're going to exhale and reach underneath you and try to reach as far as you can to the side here. Keeping the hand that's not being moved firmly planted into the wall. In life, we move forward quite a bit, side to side and backwards less, and we tend to rotate in our lifestyles even less than that. So the goal through our warm-up, the goal through our mobility is to get you into positions that you don't do on a daily basis as often, but positions that our bodies are designed to do. So plant that opposite hand against the wall, inhale one arm up, and exhale as you thread that needle underneath you. Last one here. Good work. All right. Let's go ahead and make our way down to the floor. Grab a drink of water or coffee if you need it. And we're going to be on our back. So today our focus is our hinge. And this position here of our glute bridge is a regression of that hinge. So we're going to start a little bit more of a stretch out here for the quads. You're going to take your tailbone and you're going to tuck it underneath you, lifting your pubic bone to your chin so hard that your abs engage and your tailbone lifts off the floor. And then you're going to raise your hips up off the ground. So this is the glute bridge variation that we did last time. And it's really focused more on stretching out the front of the quads. Today, we're going to be doing a glute bridge as a strengthening position, and it's a little bit different here when our goal is to feel the glutes work versus feel the quads stretch. So I want you to go ahead and release that tailbone. So we're going to do some pelvic tilts. You're going to let your low back lift off the ground. Your pelvis is rotating away from you. You'll have this little gap created here, and then we're going to roll backwards and lift that pubic bone off the ground again. So these are called pelvic tilts. You should feel your hips rocking back and forth, and you're really emphasizing it. I'm going to do about 10 of these. Inhaling as that pelvis goes away, exhaling as that pelvis pulls up towards your chin. Now, just like Goldilocks, we don't want to have our spine too extended when we do our glute bridge, and we don't want to have our spine too flexed. So I want you to relax, and I want you to get as close to that neutral spine. So you're going to have your head, your shoulders, your hips on the ground. And then I want you to pull your pubic bone up just enough that you're engaging your abs, but not so much that that tailbone lifts up off the ground. So you should feel your abs working here, and that should really be it. If you're not very good with your ab engagement, you might feel that your glutes have to squeeze to push your pelvis up, and that's okay. So this is my neutral position with my hips, my shoulders, and my head on the ground. And then I'm going to squeeze my butt, pivoting to the back of my shoulders to come up, and then right back down to the ground. If you come down to the ground and your shoulders and your hips meet at the same time with that core engaged, you didn't lose your core engagement. If you come down to the ground and you have that gap under your low back, you lost your core engagement. So you're going to reset and then squeeze your butt and lift upwards. Okay. We're going to do 10 of these. Our goal now with these, because we're in that neutral spine position, you should feel more of your butt working than anything else. But really listening to see if your hips are rocking one way or the other. Good. Once you've done 10 of those, go ahead and roll over to your hands and your knees. So a few different shoulder exercises that we're going to do. Number one here is we're going to shrug our shoulders up towards our ears, and then you're going to pull your shoulders away from your ears, engaging your lats. These muscles right here. Shrug up, unshrug. We're going to do 10 of these here. Shrugging, squeezing those upper traps as much as possible, and then squeezing your lats and feeling the traps stretch as much as you can. And you could inhale or exhale any direction here. As shrugging is so easy for me to do, this is where I'm inhaling, and I'm exhaling as I pull my lats and my shoulders down to engage the lat, because that's what I need to focus on. Good. So that is round one of our activation. Round two, same exercises, a little bit of difference here. So back onto your back for your glute bridge. This time you're going to take one foot up off the ground, and we're going to try this as single leg. So single leg not only makes it more challenging because you have half the muscles doing the work, but then you also have to worry about your pelvis moving side to side. So really focus on that core, make sure we've got our proper engagement and alignment, and then we're going to lift our hip up. We're going to do 10 per side, and I want you to make sure that you're not rotating your hips like this as you lift upwards. But as you lift, both hips stay parallel to the ground, and at the ground, both hips touch at the same time with that low back. You should be feeling your butt and the back of your leg work here. If you're feeling your low back, pull that pubic bone up towards your chin a little bit more. Then we're going to go ahead and switch sides. Pull the pubic bone up to engage the core, making sure we're not rolling from one side to the other. And exhaling each time you lift up off the ground. If you're feeling this in your quad, check where through your foot you're pressing. Are you pressing through the ball of your foot and lifting your heel off the ground? Anything, we want the opposite. And once you've done your 10, you're back over to some shoulder retractions, but instead of going up and down here, we're going to go forward and backwards. So from my hands and my knees, I'm going to pinch my shoulder blades together behind me and let my sternum drop to the floor. And then I'm going to press through the hands and try to get that upper spine to touch the ceiling, allowing my shoulders to round forward. Pinch the shoulder blades together behind you. Press your spine up towards the ceiling. So now we should be feeling the muscles that are moving the shoulder blades towards and away from your spine. Good work. All right, from here, I want you to press your body backwards into a little bit of child's pose here. If you'd rather stay up in puppy pose with the hips over the knees, you're welcome to here. Just give the front of the body here a little bit of a stretch out. Nice big belly breaths, which means every breath, you're expanding your belly to fill in between the knees. And as you exhale, you're melting into the floor. Good, one more big deep breath, as long as possible. All right, grab some water here. We're going to switch up our interval. All right, so we've got 2 exercises today. They are not single-sided exercises that we're going to start with. So our first one is our glute bridge that we just did. But our goal here is to add a little bit of weight to it. If you have nothing to add or you felt pain in any way doing the glute bridge, you can stay at this base glute bridge. If you have mini loop resistance bands like this or some woven ones, I would suggest adding them, sticking with a medium to hard band. So I'm not going to go with my extra hard. I'm going to go with my medium band to start. So the way that would look, if you have one, is you put that around your knees here. I like to keep my feet closer together and push those knees out. And already you're going to feel those glutes work to push the knees out to the side. And my knees stay here while I push my hips up and down. Okay. If you'd like to add a baby onto your hips, you can do that. You can also add dumbbells onto your hips as well here. Just making sure that whatever weight or resistance you add, it's not adding anything to your low back. So you're holding that weight over the hips. So it's the glutes that are supporting that weight. All right. That is your first exercise. Your second exercise is a chest press. So if you have that band around your knees, you can leave it on for the second exercise, just so it's a little bit of less work to move around. And you're going to have your 2 dumbbells. Easiest way to get them up is to have them down by your side here. You're going to bicep curl up onto your elbows, and then we're going to press up into our starting position here. So as we go through our chest press today, what I want you to focus on is keeping the back of the shoulders pressed into the floor. So I can do this little movement here when I'm pressing up and pulling down. That's just pushing with my shoulders. So I want my shoulders to stay down into the floor. When I do that, it feels like I pull my sternum up, and I'm going to keep the shoulders into the back of the floor as the dumbbells go down and as the dumbbells go up here. Okay? So it's a bit of a weird feeling to push your arms forward as your shoulder goes backwards, but it avoids the overextension of the shoulder there. Okay? We are going to do a minute of each exercise. From one straight into the next, we'll take a minute rest. I'll give some variation options. And that is our first superset for today. I'm just making my weights a little bit lighter here. I was feeling ambitious this morning. So go ahead and get your weights ready. I'm going to put my dumbbells down here for my chest press. I'm going to keep my medium resistance band on for my first round here, and I'm just going to go for range of motion. You have a choice of which equipment you're using. We are starting in 10 seconds here. 3, 2, 1. There you go. 1 minute of work. Your goal is to get between 12 and 15, maybe 20 repetitions here. So as my hips drop down, I relax and I inhale. And as my hips lift, I squeeze my glutes and I exhale, keeping that core really turned on. How much tension can you keep in those glutes? The goal is to feel your bum as much as possible. Play around with your knee position. If your knees are closer or farther apart, how does that change where you feel the stretch? Where you feel the stretch, where you feel the squeeze. Good. One more here. And then we're bringing our hips down. We're going straight into our next one. So bicep curl up. Find that connection between the back of your shoulder blade, the back of your deltoid and the ground. And then we're going to press those dumbbells up and back down. Exhale as you press up. If you don't have weights here, that's okay. Shoulder blades into the ground and you're pressing up and down. You'll still feel your chest working here, especially if you're keeping the back of your shoulders into the floor. You could also do a baby press if you needed to here. Although with the wiggly baby, I think that's taking the expert level there. 15 seconds to go. Three, two, one, rest. All right, we have 1 minute of rest here. So if we're going to make this a little bit more challenging, for the glute bridge, you can add a dumbbell to your hips. If you don't have weights or you don't want to add weights, you can switch into a single leg variation. We have 2 rounds left, which means you can do your right leg on one round or your left leg on another round. I'm just getting a different type of dumbbell for that exercise because my power blocks aren't great for it. Let's talk about the press. When we have our shoulders back, I always want your elbows underneath your weight. So if my elbows are down on the ground, the dumbbells are around my waist. And as I press up, if my elbows are still supporting, those dumbbells are now in front of my shoulders. So the dumbbells don't stay like this and move in a straight line up and down. They kind of move down towards my waist and up towards my chest. And that's going to give me more of a work in that upper chest here. 3, okay? 2. Round number 2. Go. Here we go. So making a more challenging glute bridge variation, either by adding more weight or switching into a single leg. If you don't have that weight, our goal here is to work your butt. Finding that breath, exhaling each time. Noticing here, is that low back touching at the same time as the pelvis, or is your butt touching and then your back flattening? That means your core is not fully engaged. So pubic bone lifts up, hips lift up. Last one. 3, 2, 1, go. And we switch over to our dumbbells in our hands. This time focusing that those elbows are always directly underneath the hands. And as we press up, those dumbbells are moving over our chest. As we come down, the dumbbells are more in line with our waist. Back of the shoulders press into the floor as we press the dumbbells up. Inhale down. Got it, 15 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and relax. Good work. All right, we've got 1 minute rest here. Grab some water if you need it. We talked about elbow position in terms of where they are under the dumbbells. So for our next chest press, I want to talk about whether our elbows should be here or whether our elbows should be here. When we want to keep our shoulder blades flat and working in the right position, keeping those elbows close to your body is the easiest way to do it. We don't want to shrug our shoulders up, but you can make this more challenging by taking your elbows out to the side, still staying underneath my wrists, as far as I can before I start to shrug. So if I come out here and I shrug my shoulders up, that's too far. Bring them back in a little bit. I find my best chest engagement is when my elbows are about 45 degrees away from my body. It will be a little bit different for everybody, but we want to make sure that we're not shrugging. That's going to use the shoulders. Okay? We are starting that last round here. 1. If you chose a single leg variation for your last glute bridge, use the opposite leg now. Otherwise, right back into it. Making sure we're pressing through the heels. The core is fully engaged with that pubic bone lifting towards the chin. Twenty seconds to go. Last one here. 3. And we're switching over to our final chest press. With the chest press, back of the shoulders still stay into the floor. Elbows still stay underneath the wrist, but you can take those elbows out to the side a little bit to find where you get the best chest engagement without activating your shoulders. Really proud chest all the way through this. Inhale down, exhale up. Last 10 seconds here. 3, 2, 1. Relax. Very nice job. That is the first half of our strength work for today. So you can go ahead and switch it up, put everything away or out of your way here. So we're going to be on our feet for the next little bit here. We may or may not need weights. Depends on the person and how your knees are doing. So our next exercise that we're going to do, the last of the primal movements we haven't done so far, is our lunge. So our lunge position is essentially anytime you're shifting your body weight from one foot to another when your feet are in uneven surfaces. So if you're sitting down, you're sliding out of your car to the side, that's technically a side lunge variation. If you're walking upstairs, that is a lunge variation. We're going to go really simple today with just a stationary lunge. And if you need a little bit of balance, you can go ahead and grab a stick or set yourself up next to a wall or something to give you balance. One thing that will help with balance is making sure that you're not standing on a tightrope with one leg behind the other. So make sure your feet are hip distance apart here where you can see. And then we want to make sure that everything is pointing forward. So my toes, my heels, my knees, my hips, everything pointing in the forward direction. And you'll see my back heel is off the ground. So this back leg's job is to push me forward. It's the job of my front leg to push me up. So as I bend my back knee down, I'm staying leaning forward over top of my front leg, and then I'm pressing myself up. Back leg is keeping me forward over my front leg, and it's that front leg that I'm thinking about smashing and hands straight down into the ground. We are going to go 1 minute on one side, 1 minute on the other leg, and then we're going to take a minute rest here. 3 times through, just like we did with the previous 2 exercises. Each round, I'm going to give you a little bit of different variations here. If you are able, you have the ability to put yourself in front of your camera so I can see.
3,
Please do.
2, 1.
Otherwise, here we go. So I'm lined up, getting that slight lunge forward, and then back up. So when we come down to the ground, you want to think about being as close to a cube as you can here. So if you find that you're up here, move this back leg backwards just a little bit. So you'll see how I'm not perfectly upright here. Being perfectly upright in a lunge will target your quads more than if you hinge forward from the hips. You'll target more your butt muscle. Inhale down, exhale up. You got it. Notice how this front knee doesn't move. Last one.
3, 2.
Step your back leg forward and then step your forward leg backwards, making sure that you're not on that tightrope. I've got that hinge forward, so I'm over top of my front foot. Drop that back knee down. Press through the front foot to come up. Everything stays pointing forward. Slow and controlled is the name of the game here. You got it. 20 seconds to go. That's 4 or 5 more reps. That's it. Okay, maybe 6 more reps. Woo!
3.
Step that back leg forward and relax. We've got 1 minute of rest here. And we are going to do those 2 more times. If you have pain in your knees, stay in a pain-free range of motion, especially if it's in that back leg. If you can get to here, training this movement pattern in this range of motion is better than training it at all. Especially if your knee injuries are any tendons or ligaments in the knee. They do need to be worked to recover, but they need to be worked with really light load. What I want us to focus on in our second round is what this knee is doing. So when my foot is planted, I can do this with my knee, with my foot staying flat. Internal rotation shuts off the glute and puts you a knee at this really weird angle. So I want you to push that knee to the side. It keeps my knee right in line with everything and gets my glute working more, okay? The glute is what helps to protect that knee. So we want to make sure that's on. So on this next set, your focus is where is your front knee?
1.
Okay, here we go. You can make it harder by taking away your broomstick. You could add some weights here if you wanted to. Hands behind the head if you plan on doing a high rocks race. Good. So watching that knee, is it caving in like this? Keep it out to the side with that foot flat. Inhale down, exhale up. You got it. Core really tight. Imagine someone's pulling a string right out of the top of your head to keep your spine long. If you want to try targeting the quads more, you stay more upright. Get more into that glute. We lean forward. Easy switches from one to the other. Last one on this side. Then your back leg steps forward and your front leg slides backwards. Where is that knee? Is it internally rotated or slightly externally rotated at the hip? Find that breath here. Inhale down, exhale up. We are timing the movement to your breath. So if you're not done your exhale, you pause here until you are. You got it. Stay in that pain-free range of motion. Even if that's here, I'm happy with that. Good. Last one.
3, 2,
Woo.
1.
Take out those legs. Very good. We have one last set here, and then we get to take it down to the ground again. So I've seen some people who look unbalanced. So that might be from here. It's always hard to tell online what that's from. But we want to make sure that knee stays out. So this little variation I'm going to give you is going to help force that knee out a little bit more. As I lower my knee down, I'm going to think about turning that knee towards my front heel. So that's going to turn my entire pelvis, not just my knee going under. And it's going to force this knee out into that external rotation. You might find that you need to hold on to something so you don't fall over when you do that. That's okay. You're something to hold on to for balance, not something that's helping you get up. You're not pulling up. So as I lower that knee, slight rotation inward with the pelvis to force this hip into external rotation. Down and back to neutral each time. Last round.
3,
Here we go.
2, 1. Go.
I'm going to start with my not so strong side first. Getting that rotation at the bottom and back to neutral at the top. So make sure that we're not pushing backwards with the front leg. Our front leg should never straighten. That knee should always be on top of the foot. And my body weight over top of that front leg. So here. We don't want to push backwards. We want to stay forwards. You got it. Couple more here. And back leg steps forward. Last minute here, you got it. Forward left step, leg steps back. I rotate and back up to neutral. Aim my knee and my pelvis for that front heel, and then straight. Body weight staying over top of my front leg. Last round here. Good. You got it. Inhale down, exhale up. Take a couple extra seconds, pause at the top if you need to. Last 10 seconds here.
3,
2, 1. Rest. Shake out those legs. Grab your drink of water and then make your way down to the floor when you're ready. We technically did our core on Tuesday. However, because core is involved in every aspect of our life and every movement, we are going to finish here with 3 30-second planks. So let's start with a little stretch out of those quads. So laying on the belly, pulling the ankle back towards you, keeping those knees closer together if you can. Switching sides. So we are going to go 30-second plank, 30-second rest, 3 times. And I'm going to cue you as we go through the plank for the few things that I want to see. We're going to start here in 10 seconds. So elbows directly underneath the shoulders.
3, 2, 1.
And up we go. So we're going to start here, and I want you to pinch your shoulder blades together and press your elbows into the floor. So you're going to feel the muscles underneath your armpits here turn on when you do that. Imagine you're trying to slide your elbows away, like down towards your feet. But then I want you to lift your hips. Make sure that your hips haven't dropped when you pinch those shoulder blades together. So I'm trying to slide my elbows towards my feet underneath you.
2, 1.
Relax. Good, rest. So as my elbows are here, my feet are here, they're stuck to the ground, but I'm trying to pull them together without peaking my hips. That really gets that core going here. 15 seconds, we go into number 2. And if this is too easy for you, you can alternate one foot and then the other off the ground. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Pinch the shoulder blades together, pull the elbows towards your feet, and if you need to, you can go one leg and then the other up off the ground. $15 seconds to go. Shoulders away from your ears.
3,
2,
1, go.
rest. A little ab stretch out in between if you like. You big deep breaths. We've got 30 seconds of work left before we finish off our stretches. 15 seconds. Last one is also our best one. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Shoulders away from ears. Pinch the shoulder blades together and try and slide your elbows down towards your feet. There's 15 seconds. 5,
3, 2, 1, go.
Good. All right. So you can stay up in your extension here. You can press up to the hands to get a little bit of that extension, or you can start low on the ground here, lifting the chin, pressing lightly through the hands, if that's an appropriate amount of extension for you. Remember as kids, we used to sit and watch TV or sit and read like this. Now I have about maximum 5 minutes in this position before it's uncomfortable. All right, we're going to press ourselves backwards into our child's pose position. So toes together, knees out to the side, pressing backwards. Or you can keep those knees under your hips if your knees don't like the flexion and push back into your puppy pose here. Whichever position you choose, I want you looking to feel the stretch through the sides of your lats here. So really spread those fingers as far apart from each other as you can and grip the ground as you try to lean your body weight backwards. Go ahead and come up to your feet, nice and slow. And you're gonna find a wall or a bar or something that you can use, a door frame for a chest stretch. I have a handy bar this here. So fingertip to elbow is gonna line up on that surface, elbows in line with my shoulder, and I'm gonna turn my body away. So I've got that stretch going horizontal across my chest, from my sternum to that shoulder. Making sure that shoulder doesn't shrug up, that the shoulder is pulled far away from your ear. So this is the pec major. To target the pec minor, we release. Slide our hand up. So now I've got about a 45-degree up from the shoulder. And then I'm going to turn away. I'm feeling that stretch going more down from the shoulder to the rib cage. So this is often the one I find is tight on people who sit at a desk all day, because their shoulders are rounded forward from the top. But both are good to do. If I do one, I always do the other. Go ahead and rest. We're going to switch sides, starting with that elbow in line with your shoulder first, fingertips directly up from above it, and we're turning ourselves away. So we're targeting from the chest to the sternum. Go ahead and release. Slide those hands up. So you've got 45 degrees up from the shoulder and then turning away again. So now that we've got that stretch from the shoulder down to the rib cage. And relax. That is it for today. Very nice work.